An introductory prayer for Kol Nidre by my beloved teacher, Rabbi Marshall Meyer. As we listen to the melancholic and shattering melody of Kol Nidre, O God, help us to measure our words and to find the courage and strength to be faithful to our resolve. Grant us strength to bridge a bit more of the gulf that separates our goals from our achievements during the coming year. On this Yom Kippur, help us to look into the most profound depths of our being, so as to better comprehend the truths of our existence and to be capable of more improvement. Our God and God of our ancestors, as evening casts its shadows over the earth, ushering in the most solemn and sublime day of the year, we meet with our fellow Jews throughout the entire world in prayer and meditation. Let us cast aside from our minds and souls all petty thoughts and vain desires. What is our life, and to what avail our strength? What is our wealth, and to what purpose our power? We lift up our souls, O God, and yearn for your light and inspiration. On this evening of Kol Nidre, sanctified by the memories of countless generations of the past, we find ourselves in your presence, O God, stripped of all pretension and naked in all our weakness. You know well how frail and fragile we really are. God, strengthen us to overcome our weaknesses. Help us find the strength to encounter you in our lives and to courageously confront the truth of our being. Help us to open our hearts and souls so that we may not only hear our own cries, but also the call and the weeping of the enslaved, the oppressed, the refugees, the hungry, the desperate, the suffering, and the forgotten. In this spirit, and vibrating to these chords of Kol Nidre, we now rise. Kol Nidre, page 204. בשבעה של מעלה ובשבעה של מטה, על דעת המקום ועל דעת הקהל, אנו מתירים להתפלל עם העבריינים. By authority of the court on high and by the authority on this court below, with divine consent and with the consent of this congregation, we grant permission to pray with those who have transgressed. בשבעה של מעלה ובשבעה של מטה, על דעת המקום ועל דעת הקהל, אנו מתירים להתפלל עם העבריינים.
וחרמי וקונמי וכינויי וכינוסי ושבועות ונסלח לכל עדת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם בשגגם
ונסלח לכל עדת בני ישראל
ולגר הגר בתוכם, כי לכל העם בשגגה. ונסלח לכל ענת בני ישראל, ולגר הגר בתוכם, כי לכל העם בשגגה.
סלח נא לעוונם הזה, כי גודל חסדך, וכאשר נסעת לים הזה ממצרים ועדנה, ושם נאמר ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך. ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך. ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך.
Na A story. At the beginning of time, God's presence filled the universe. When God decided to bring this world into being, in order to make room for creation, God first drew in God's breath and contracted God's self. From that contraction, darkness was created. And when God said, "Let there be light," the light that came into being filled the darkness, and 10 holy vessels came forth, each filled with primordial light. In this way, God sent forth those 10 vessels like a fleet of ships, each carrying its cargo of light. Had they arrived intact, the world would have been perfect. But the vessels were too fragile to contain such a powerful divine light. They broke open, split asunder, and all the holy sparks were scattered like sand, like seeds, like stars. Those sparks fell everywhere. That is why we were created, to gather the sparks, no matter where they are hidden. God created the world so that descendants of Yaakov could raise up the holy sparks. That is why there has been so many exiles, to release the holy sparks from the servitude of captivity. In this way, the Jewish people will sift all the holy sparks from the 4 corners of the earth. And when enough holy sparks have been gathered, the broken vessels will be restored. And Tikkun Olam, the repair of the world, awaited so long, will finally be complete. Therefore, it should be the aim of everyone to raise the sparks from wherever they are imprisoned and to elevate them to holiness by the power of their soul. This is a retelling of the breaking of the vessels and the gathering of the sparks, one of the last great sacred myths to enter Judaism. It is a teaching of Rabbi Luria, who lived in the 16th century and is renowned as the greatest Kabbalist of modern times, perhaps of all times. We are acutely aware that the world is broken. A day doesn't go by without us getting another reminder. And we feel the brokenness in our heart and the brokenness of our heart. This Kabbalistic myth establishes that brokenness is inherent to the world from its inception. It is part of the fabric of creation well before humanity came into being. Shattering is at the heart of reality and of human life. No one is immune from it. No one escapes it. We all live with multiple fractures all around us and inside us. The shards of the original vessels and the sparks of the primordial light are all around us. The main task of our lives is to find and gather the sparks so the vessels can be restored and become whole again. That is called the work of tikkun, the healing and repair of the world. But because we are human and we struggle with our imperfection, most of us do some repair and much more breaking. And so we come on this night of Kol Nidre holding the broken pieces of our lives. We go into the hollow and dark spaces. We allow ourselves to feel the embarrassment, the sadness, and the regret. We try to muster the courage to hold ourselves accountable and to take responsibility for our part in the shattering. For shattering promises and commitments, for shattering loyalty, for shattering relationships, for shattering truth, for shattering love, for shattering justice, for shattering peace, for shattering dreams, and for having participated in shattering the world. Even as we sit in the brokenness, there's great relief in these 25 hours of Yom Kippur. A feeling of liberation that we don't have to hide. We don't have to hold it together and pretend we are whole. Because we are not whole. We are broken. There isn't one of us who does not feel broken by our flaws, our shortcomings, all our transgressions, all our wrongdoing, our bitterness, our sin, our shame, the missed opportunities, the loss. It is liberating to be able to acknowledge that, and to dwell on this day of Yom Kippur in that profound truth, that we are all broken, and we don't have to pretend that we are whole. Not surprisingly, the origin of Yom Kippur lies in a story about brokenness. Here is the story. God gave Moshe the tablets bearing the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai on Shavuot. 40 days later, seeing that Moshe had failed to come down from the mountain, the people forced Aaron to make the golden calf. When Moshe came down and saw the people dancing around the calf, he smashed the tablets. After another 40 days, on the new moon of Elul, Moshe went back up to the mountain for an additional 40 days and pleaded with God to forgive their sin. Finally, on the 10th of Tishrei, God granted forgiveness and gave Moshe a new set of tablets. On that very day, Moshe came down with the second tablets. That day was Yom Kippur. So this day, the holiest day in our calendar, commemorates the repair of the relationship between God and the people after it breaks, the restoration of wholeness and the new beginning, all signified by a new set of tablets. Let's go back to the moment when Moshe smashed the first tablets. Moshe is the towering figure of our tradition, the liberator, the indefatigable leader, the man of God. He did many great things in his life. According to Rashi, of all his deeds, the breaking of the first tablets is the most momentous and significant in all of Moshe's life. He smashes the concrete symbol of revelation and of God's covenant with Israel, the tablets fashioned by God and inscribed by God's finger. And how does God react? When Moshe breaks the tablets, Moshe earns God's unequivocal approval. God told him, with a play on words, the tablets which you broke, haluchot asher shibarta, ishar kochacha sheshibarta. Congratulations that you broke them. Really? Yashar koach? Congratulations for breaking them? It's absolutely stunning that God would commend Moshe. How come? Aviva Zornberg introduces a Talmudic paradox. If the tablets had not been shattered, the Torah would not have been forgotten in Israel. And she offers a profound insight. Breaking the tablets symbolizes the undoing of memory, the lugubrious hazard of oblivion. Moshe introduces the phenomenon of rapture, of forgetting, into the tradition. If the Torah is forgotten, the effect is not, after all, unmitigatedly tragic. For out of oblivion comes interpretation, reconstruction, the act of memory that recreates the past. Sometimes it is the rapture that opens the door to deeper understanding and new insights, to imagination and creativity. When we sit in the breach, in the not knowing, among the fragments, in the chaos and the confusion, it is precisely there that the opportunity arises for us to search, to recreate, to rebuild. The Hasidic master Rabbi Meir Simcha of Dvinsk known as the Meshech Chochmah, takes a different approach to the breaking of the tablets. When Moshe sees the people dancing around the golden calf, he realizes that once he would bring them the tablets, they would start dancing around the tablets as they danced around the golden calf, and would turn the tablets into another fetish. And that's why he broke them. We sit in the brokenness and ask ourselves, what are the fetishes and the golden calves we dance around? What are the false gods to which we give our ultimate allegiance, our utmost devotion? The idols we worship and serve that demand we sacrifice everything, our time, our strength, our resources, our loved ones, our moral and spiritual values. Whatever that is, those fetishes we dance around, our love, our egos, our pleasure and comfort, our power, our money, our work, our addiction, and ideology, all those relative and limited things which we turn into absolutes that end up taking over and ruling our lives. Yet another interpretation of the breaking of the first tablets. An astonishing midrash says that when Moshe started going down Mount Sinai with the tablets carried their own weight, and even Moshe's weight with them. But when the tablets beheld the calf and the dancing, the writing, the letters on the tablets flew off, and the tablets became heavy in Moshe's hands. He was no longer able to carry them. So he cast them from his hands, and they were broken beneath the mountain. The words inscribed on the tablets made the tablets light. Without the words, the tablets were just pure stone. They became too heavy for Moshe to carry, and they fell and broke. Hasidic Master the Sfat Emet adds the following: the engraving of the words of Torah in the tablets was dependent on their being engraved in the hearts of the people. Since the words were not inscribed in the hearts of the people, they were also not firmly inscribed into the tablets, and they flew off. We sit in the brokenness and we ask ourselves, what is really inscribed in our hearts? What do we authentically believe? What are the teachings and the values that guide us, the faith by which we live? Now you may be curious, what ultimately happened with the broken pieces of the first tablets? Were they left behind? Were they discarded or buried in the wilderness? Rav Yosef teaches in the Talmud that the broken pieces of the first tablets were placed in the ark and carried together with the unbroken tablets. The Jewish tradition teaches us to honor the broken pieces, broken people, broken hearts, broken dreams, never to discard them or leave them behind, but to carry the fragments with us on our journeys as a permanent reminder and as a teacher. Because, yes, we sit in the brokenness with all the fragments and the shards of our hearts and of our lives, but we have so much to learn from those fragments. A lot of opportunity to grow from those fragments. As the great poet Anat Cohen said, ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light comes in. No cracks, no light. And so we sit in the brokenness and in the cracks, in the fragments, in the shards, and we hope we can learn some lessons and let some light in. This is how the poet Roger Kamenetz talks about the broken tablets and the whole tablets. The broken tablets were also carried in the ark, insofar as they represented everything shattered, everything lost. They were the law of broken things, the leaf torn from the stem in a storm, a cheek touched in fondness once, but now their name forgotten. How they must have rumbled, clattered on the way, even carried so carefully through the wasteland. How they must have rattled around until the pieces broke into pieces, the edges softened, crumbling, dust collected at the bottom of the ark, ghost of old letters, old laws. Insofar as law is broken, is still remembered. Insofar as a law broken is still remembered, these laws were obeyed. And insofar as memory preserves the pattern of broken things, these bits of stone were preserved through many journeys and ruined days, even, they say, into the promised land. And so may our broken pieces lead each one of us into light and into our promised lands. Now, it is impossible to talk about brokenness without addressing the current situation in Israel. Israel has been in the news and in everyone's mind for the past few months, and we have watched Israel struggle with the most significant internal crisis since its founding 75 years ago. Israel is breaking, and our hearts are breaking with it. 50 years ago today, on Yom Kippur, Israel faced one of the most severe threats of its existence when it suffered a surprise attack by Egypt and Syria on the holiest day of the year. 50 years ago on this day. It was a dire and deadly situation that lasted for almost 3 weeks. The very existence of the state was at stake. 2,700 Israelis lost their lives in the Yom Kippur War. Today, this Yom Kippur, Israel faces another terrible threat, and this time the threat is internal. Israel's democratic character is in grave danger. Its social cohesion is in grave danger. Its economy and national security as well. The establishment of the State of Israel is no doubt one of the greatest achievements of the Jewish people in the modern era and perhaps of all times. I don't think I need to remind us of the enormous privilege we have that generations of our people did not have for 2,000 years. We dare not forget the bitterness of exile and the dire consequences of powerlessness over the centuries that culminated in the Shoah. We continue to celebrate the miracle of Israel's existence and its incredible accomplishments, many of them or most of them truly breathtaking. But while we have celebrated the miracle of Israel, we have avoided looking at the whole truth directly in the face. We have refused to see the broken pieces. We only wanted to see the wholeness. We have refused to see the ugly and the rotten. We only wanted to see the beautiful. We did not want to take into account the moral price that was paid and continues to be paid for the realization of the Jewish dream. We have made Israel blameless in our sight. We have become addicted to an image of perfection, and we have turned Israel into a fetish. Our love was blind love, and in the blindness we failed the Israel we love. And as we ignored the brokenness over the years, something ugly and morally corrupt kept expanding. Fascism, racism, Jewish supremacy, and the glorification of the use of power and violence, religious extremism and messianism, the steady erosion of democracy and discrimination against the Arab-Palestinian minority, as well as the ongoing occupation and oppression of the Palestinian people and the denial of their basic rights. And even when we saw things that alarmed us, we were told to look away and to keep quiet, and most obeyed. Those who dared to speak up and challenge the official narrative were quickly silenced or marginalized as traitors. So what has recently erupted in the open has come to a shock, as a shock to many. Israel now is in the hands of the most extremist government in its history, a coalition that seeks to turn the country we love into a far-right theocratic dictatorship which threatens the rule of law, political dissent and a free press, the rights of women, LGBTQ people, Palestinians and other marginalized groups, as well as liberal expressions of Judaism and religious pluralism. In addition, the cycle of deepening occupation, settlement expansion, and pseudo-annexation constitutes a threat for all Palestinians and Israelis. That's what we call a Jewish state. I am deeply worried for the future of Israel. I'm deeply worried for the future of the Jewish people in Israel, here, and in communities around the world. Because ultimately what happens in Israel will have an impact on us all. And the present governing coalition befriending autocrats and anti-Semites will have an impact on us all. I am deeply worried about the future of Judaism and Jewish values, and for the future of Torah, the Torah that is being used and manipulated to teach despicable and hateful things. At the same time, we have witnessed the most determined and sustained protest movement in Israel's history. Masses of Israelis of all ages and all walks of life have taken to the streets weekly for 38 weeks now. Jewish communities and organizations throughout our country have expressed deep concern for Israel's democratic future in solidarity with the protest movement in Israel. It is time to engage. If not now, when? We may not get another opportunity. We have an ongoing role to play by standing with and offering our support to the millions in Israel and here who are advocating for democracy, for civil and human rights, and who seek to ensure Israel's future as a free and democratic country. Democratic for all its inhabitants, not just for Jews. And who call to end the occupation once and for all. We have an ongoing role to play by standing with those who uphold the vision of Israel's Declaration of Independence, which reads, "The state of Israel will be open for Jewish immigration and for the ingathering of the exiles. It will foster the development of the country for the benefit of all its inhabitants. It will be based on freedom, justice, and peace as envisaged by the prophets of Israel. It will ensure complete equality of social and political rights to all its inhabitants, irrespective of religion, race, or sex. It will guarantee freedom of religion, conscience and language, education and culture. It will safeguard the holy places of all religions, and it will be faithful to the principles of the Charter of the United Nations." Several years ago, Susanna Heschel told a story about her father's great-great-grandfather, Rabbi Avraham Yoshua Heschel of Apt. He was an important Hasidic Rebbe in Poland, and many people would come to meet with him each day. They would tell him of their troubles, seek his guidance, and ask him to pray on their behalf for refuah, the healing of our loved ones who was ill, for parnasah, financial sustenance, for shalom bayit, for peace in the family, or for finding a shidduch, for the right partner, to find the right partner for marriage, and so on. Someone asked him, "Rebbe, so many people come every day, you get so many requests. How do you manage to remember each one of them in your prayers?" You see, he answered, "Each time a person tells me about their troubles, my heart breaks. The next person comes in and it breaks even more. Then I stand in prayer and I tell God, God, look at my heart. Look at all the fragments. Please help my people and bless them. And so I pray with all of us. God, look at our hearts. Look at all the fragments. Hear our prayers. Help us repent. Grant us your forgiveness. Heal us and make us and our world a bit more whole. I want to invite us now to, as we transition to the tefillah, to the service of Arvit, to take the booklet in which we have on page 3 this beautiful piyut, Lecha Eli Teshukati. Toward you, my God, is directed my fervent yearning. It's a poem written in the 12th century. Rabbi Avraham ibn Ezra, a great, great poet, Hebraist, commentator, scientist. This is just an excerpt of the poem, which has 40 stanzas, and it's a poem of profound yearning and dedication. It's sang in Sephardic communities throughout the world as we begin Yom Kippur, to dedicate ourselves fully to God, to put ourselves in God's hands, hoping that God will hold us on this holy day, difficult, challenging, painful day, but also beautiful, glorious day, that God will hold us in God's embrace. We'll teach you the new melody that we will use in the today and hopefully in the next few years. It's a melody that comes from the Moroccan Jewish tradition. So I'll sing a piece, and you'll repeat, and we'll learn it together, and then we'll sing it together. Lecha Eli Teshukati. Can you do that? Lecha Eli Teshukati. בך חשקי ואהבתי. בך חשקי ואהבתי. Let's do from the beginning. Let me do it and then you. Or Deborah, you do it and then I repeat with him. Okay. לך אלי תשוקתי. בך חשקי ואהבתי. לך אלי תשוקתי, בך חשקי ואהבתי. Second part. לך ליבי וכליותי, לך רוחי ונשמתי. לך ליבי וכליותי, לך רוחי ונשמתי. Again. לך ליבי וכליותי, לך רוחי ונשמתי. Now we do the whole thing. לך אלי תשוקתי, בך חשקי ואהבתי. לך ליבי וכליותי, לך רוחי ונשמתי. Beautiful. That's it. You learned it. Now let's sing it. If you don't know the Hebrew, if you don't understand the Hebrew, look at the English also. Peek into the English, because it's just such a beautiful poem that invites us to dedicate ourselves fully on this day. לך ליבי וכליותי, לך רוחי ונשמתי. לך ידיי, לך רגליי,
וממחית תכונתי, לך עצמי, לך דמי, ועורים גווייתי. לך רוחי, לך כוחי ומבטחי ותקוותי, לך מלכות, לך גאות, לך תאות תהילתי, לך עזרה בעת צרה, אהיה עזרי בצרתי. לך אישי סלח רישי ואת פשעי ואשמתי, לך חסד, לך חמלה, חמול על כל תלה אותי, וגדול מסכתי וגדלה יד משובתי. כף נידש מאות נדבר, תזכור משוגתי, בכל ליבי דרשתיך, ענני יד דרישתי, אנסך את דמי לך, מחכתי בדמעתי. שלום כוח יאמרו בכל אחד בבנייתי, גנוז לפניך, יהי סתרי וסוכתי, ותחת צל כנפיך תנענה את מחיצתי.
To the service of Arvit of this Yom Kippur, page 207. I invite you to rise for Baruch Hu.
המבורך לעולם ועד.
אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
May be seated. We continue the brachot before the Shema, beginning on page 207. ברוך אתה אדוני למלך העולם אשר בדברו. כולל אור ממנו.
הוא מעביר יום ובהביא לילה, הוא מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו
המרי והבי.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך ואתה תורה מסוים משפטים אותנו למטה.
כי הם חיינו וירח ימינו, ובהם נגן יומם ולילה, ויעבדך תציר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו
אוהב עמו ישראל.
אמן. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבביך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. והאם שמוע תשמעו צותי. תזכרו אז כבר שאתה רוצה אתכם בארץ ישראל.
היום אנו נמשלים בתבי בני ישראל. אדוני אלוהיך באמת.
Continue praying for redemption on page 210, in the middle of the page, ומלכותו ורצון.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל
לך אנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו חולה מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות אוסף אלף
מלכותך ובניך בוקע ים לפני משה זה אלינו ואמרו
אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד
ונאמר כי פד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו
גאו ישראל
Amen. We pray for peace on page 211. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו שלווה ומלכנו חיים בשורות סוכת שלומך ותגן שדות טובה מלפניך למען שמך והגן בעדינו והסר מעלינו תסיר כי אלה שומרנו והצילנו אתה כי אלה בנחל וברחמתה שמור שדנו וידחם ושלומך
ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך הוא ברוך שמו הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל
ועל ירושלים ועל כל יושבי תבל
Amen. We rise on page 212 to sing the second paragraph, the verse כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם.
יתברך ויתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בהמה דבחיותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דחבית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב אמרו
אמן. יהי שמרה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך
יתברך וישתבח ויתבע ויתאמר ויתנשא יתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי תקודשה
בריחו
לילה לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תוש ברכתה
ונחמתה
דמירנה בימה וימרו אמן.
Turn now towards Yerushalayim, towards the east to recite the first silent Amidah of this Yom Kippur, trying to go as deep as we can in a personal prayer. Begins on page 213 through page 221.
standing for Ya'ale Tachanunenu as the ark is open, page 223. הדרתנו עד הערב ויראה הדרתנו עד הערב. Seated. We turn now to page 227 to sing this beautiful piyut, Ki Neka Chomer. We don't know who the author is, but there's a beautiful story that is behind this piyut. It's based on a verse in the book of Yirmiyahu, the prophet Jeremiah. God says to Jeremiah, I want to deliver through you a message to my people. And before I deliver the message, I want you to go to the house of a potter. And there I will tell you my message. So Yirmiyahu goes to the house of the potter and he watches the potter work with the clay and the wheel. And at some point the potter doesn't like what he has made and destroys it and starts again. So God says, I want you now to tell my people, you are in my hands like clay in the hands of the potter. If I'm displeased with my creation, I will destroy it and start again. If I'm pleased, however, I will make the most beautiful vessel. I want them to know that I hope I can make with them the most beautiful vessel. And this is this poem, Ki Neka Chomer, on page 227. I want to tell you something about the melody that we're going to use. This melody was either composed or discovered by a Hasid of Chabad in Ukraine in the 19th century. It was sang as a nigun, and then many decades later it found its way to Israel. And in 1929, this melody was put to the words, the lyrics of a beautiful lullaby called Shechav Beni, Sleep My Child. Gorgeous lullaby sang and recorded in Israel in the 30s and 40s and 50s. And then a number of decades later, some Chabad Hasidim took the melody from the lullaby and put it to this poem, Ki Neka Chomer.
And we're going to sing it now, page 227. Rise if you're able, page 232. El Melech Yoshev, the ark is open with the 13 attributes which we invoke, which God taught Moshe on Mount Sinai. And God said to Moshe, every time you seek forgiveness, you're in trouble, teach them to say these words, and my attributes of mercy and compassion will be activated and I will forgive.
אל מלך יושב על כיסא רחמים, מתנהג בחסידות, אוכל עוונות עמו, מעביר ראשון ראשון, מרבה מחילה לחטאים וסליחה לפושעים, עושה צדקות עם כל בשר ורוח, לא חרתם תגמול. אל הורית לנו לומר 13, זכור לנו היום ברית 13, כמו שהודעת לענף מקדם, כמו שכתוב, וירד אדוני בענן, ויתייצב עם מושם, ויקרא בשם אדוני, ויעבור אדוני על פניו, ויקרא אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, אל כפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, אל כפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, אל כפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה.
Be seated. We continue with Adonai Selichot, a very old and beautiful piyut, a joyful piyut. On page 5 in the booklet, in many ways, the certainty or the faith that God's compassion will prevail. That's why it's a joyful piyut. Adonai Selichot, page 5.
Every time we sing this, I'm transported to the side of my grandfather when I was a little kid. And we sang this, and everybody just top of their lungs. Chatanu lefanecha rachim aleinu. We now rise for Shema Kolenu, page 233.
וקבל ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה. חדש חדש ימינו כחל. Eloheinu
may be seated. Ki anu amecha, page 234. Sing like this, it's intense. Some people laugh at us, look at BJ, they are so intense. But the truth is, the intensity, there's a warmth. And the warmth melts the heart and opens the heart. If there's no warmth, if it's cold, the heart stays like a stone. And that's why we do this from time to time, to warm the heart up, so it will open up. And so we turn to Ashamnu, hopefully with a little bit more open heart. On page 235, if you're able, please rise in body or spirit. Ashamnu.
גזלנו, דיברנו דופי, הבינו והרשענו, זתנו, חמסנו, תפלנו שקר. כיזבנו, לצנו, מרדנו, ניאצנו, שררנו, עבינו, פשענו, צררנו, קישינו עורף. עין 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 רשע, שחטנו, תיעבנו, טעינו, תהייתנו.
Continue now with Al-Chet Shechatanu Lefanecha on page 237. We do this individually. Of course, we haven't done all of these transgressions on the list, but we are responsible for one another, and we're responsible for the society and the culture in which we live. And certainly all these transgressions are part of our lives and our reality, and we hold ourselves accountable for our own and then for our collective as well. Page 237. Continue with the additional list of Al-Chet on page 9 in the booklet. Page 9. We're going to read together. We sin against you when we sin against ourselves and each other. For our failures of truth, O God, we ask forgiveness. For projecting emotions we do not feel. For using the sins of others to excuse our own. For denying our responsibility for our misfortunes. For refusing to admit our share in the troubles of others. For condemning in our children the faults we tolerate in ourselves. For condemning in our parents the fault we tolerate in ourselves. For passing judgment without knowledge of the facts. For remembering the price of things but forgetting their value. For teaching our children everything but the meaning of life. For loving our egos better than the truth. For not respecting God's image in every human being. For running to do violence, yet crawling to make peace. Standing and turn to page 243 as the ark is open for Avinu Malkeinu. Opportunity to pray deeply for all the things, all the requests that we need in order to have meaningful lives, moral lives, spiritual lives.
We invite everyone to pray in English or in Hebrew. אבינו מלכנו חטאנו לפניך, מלכנו לנו מלך מלכנו סלמן שמך. חדש עלינו שנה טובה, מלכנו בטל מעלינו כל גזרות קשות. אבינו מלכנו בטל מחשבות שונאינו. אבינו מלכנו בטל. על ידי וחרב ורעה ושוב מחשבים. אבינו מלכנו סלח מלכנו. אבינו מלכנו מחב ואבן פשע מגן חטאתנו מדינה. עשינו בתשובה שלמה לפניך. שלח רפואה שלמה לחולי עמך. אבינו מלכנו זוכרנו זכרו טוב לפניך. כותבנו בספר חיים טובים. כותבנו בספר גאולה ושועה. כותבנו בספר פרנסה וכלכלה. כותבנו בספר סליחה ומחילה. אצמח לנו ישועה וקרוב. תרמי קרב משיחה. שמע כולנו חוץ ורחמנו. נעל תשיבנו לקרב מתפניך. וכן זכור כי אפעל אנחנו. אבינו מלכנו חמור. עשה עמנו. אבינו מלכנו עשה למען, אבינו מלכנו עשה למען, אם לא למען. Shalem on page 245. Please remain standing.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי הבא והמהדי והחיותי והמלך מלכותי וחיי חונה ומחונה וחיי תוך בית ישראל בגלה וזמן קרי והימרו
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלם על מאיה ברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומה ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה לילה מכל ברכתה שירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה נמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
תתקבע צאתון ואותן תחייצו הקודם אבונדי בשמי והימרו
אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומה ויעשה שלום עלינו ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו עלינו לשבח לדון הכל לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסף שמותה לבבי הוא האלוהים בשמיים. כמלכות שלך. תקן עולם במלכות שלך.
ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Those who are in mourning and those who mark a yortzeit, please remain standing. On page 247 you'll find Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. יתקדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. בעלמא דברה קרותה וימליך מלכותה. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה לעילה מכל ברכתה שירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Please be seated. These days of Rosh Hashanah and now the beginning of Yom Kippur, we've been hearing a lot of wonderful stories from our tradition. Stories and pieces of stories that allow us to find meaning, to find our way in these very challenging times in which we are living. But we are a community also with a very long and wonderful story. We're a community that is 200 years old almost. We're going to celebrate our bicentennial in just a year and a half. 2025, 200 years. A community that has a history of prominence in New York City, in American Judaism, a community that saw glorious days in the 19th century, in the beginning of the 20th century, the middle of the 20th century, and then declined. Declined that it was almost bankrupt, physically, financially, spiritually. This place, you wouldn't believe, those who did not see it, what this place looked like. And downstairs, what is now Frankel Hall, was a basement with filled with water, broken furniture. There was broken windows here. There was no boiler. And with the vision of Judy Peck and the leadership of Rabbi Marshall Meyer, and many of us who are here today, this community came back to life, and then some. We're a community now that is so dynamic, so vibrant, so active. I've been here for 38 years. Tonight is my 38th Kol Nidre service here at BJ. And it's a privilege and it's an honor, really the privilege of my life. And I can tell you that in those 38 years, this year, now, we're at the peak of our vibrancy. There are 250 20s and 30s, and we're just starting. We just hired Rabbi Sami Kantor, and he and our fellow Alisa Platko are leading a service at 250 people who just signed up in the last week or so. And we have hundreds of parents and children in the family service with Rabbi Beck and Rabbi Ann, and Ari and Felicia are in Lincoln Center Jazz with hundreds of people there, and we are here. And we are filled
with wonderful things, wonderful programs, and wonderful activities. And we came back from COVID more powerful than we ever were before. We learned during COVID how important it is to connect. Remember those days? We were all in our screens, many of us lonely, alone, for days and weeks and months, alone. And we connected every single day, many of us, for Shacharit, for Mincha and for Arvit, and for programs and lectures and classes and all sorts of things, and on Shabbat. Shabbat was Felicia, Ari, and myself here alone. And the musicians came later and they were in the chapel, and we had screens here, and then we started coming back because people felt the need and the power of connection and community. And we were joined by hundreds of people, thousands of people who join us every week on Zoom and live stream. And I don't say they watch, because they don't watch, they participate. They're part of our community. Many of them have joined as full members. And they participate with us in minyanim, in classes and lectures and services and all the things that we do. We found out in this highly individualistic society and culture in which we live, what connection and community really mean. And that's what we offer here, community and connection to each other, what we do for each other. We know how much we need each other. And connection to our tradition, to our roots, to our history, to our future, to our vision as Jews and to God. Connection all around. And people found out from all over the country through the pandemic what we were doing, and found community here as well. And many are now on their screens, joining us, with us here, part of this tefillah of Yom Kippur. And this is what we provide: connection, music, prayer, Judaism, Torah, myriads of programs. Fortunately, there are many wonderful, active synagogues in our country. But here we have our own culture, our own spiritual flavor, our own music, and all of you, and all the people at Jazz, and at SPSA, and on the third floor, and all the people who are in their screens, have chosen this place to be their community. And we feel so blessed that we are together, if not in one physical space, we are together as one community on this glorious journey, American Jewish journey. We are a multi-generational community. We are diverse. We have children and families, young and older people. We have people who've been here for a long time, people who just joined a few days ago. We have people on Zoom. We have people in person. We are white Jews and Jews of color, multi-faith households, straight people, LGBTQ people, people who grew up with a strong Jewish background, people who have just begun to learn the Hebrew alphabet. But we're all one community together on this spiritual journey. Now, we normally think, talking about spiritual journey, that spirituality is over here and finances are over there. That's how people think, right? Spiritual is spiritual, material is material, and the two shall never meet. But that's not true. Because we have physical and emotional needs, and we have spiritual needs. And in order to have these needs met, we live in the material world. We have to pay for everything that makes possible the fulfillment of our spiritual needs. Music, prayer, books, lights, a community house, staff that work so hard and so devotedly in this community, who give their hearts for children, for adults, for everybody in between, and they do it with really true dedication. And all of that costs money. And so spirituality is not here and financial needs over there. The two are interconnected. We need to pay for the structures that make our spiritual lives possible. And our spiritual lives are no less important than other aspects, perhaps the more important or central to other aspects of our lives. And giving a gift, giving money, is a spiritual act. It's a spiritual act because you give a part of yourself and you're not diminished. You know, when you give a gift, you give a part of yourself and your soul is enhanced and elevated and is filled with love. And when we give with gratitude, and many of us feel gratitude I feel tremendous gratitude for being part of this community. And many of us feel tremendous gratitude. Whether you come every Shabbat or once a month or once a year, you have a place. You have a place where you belong. You have a place where your soul can sing, where you can search. And I hope you feel the gratitude. And when the gratitude is felt, then the heart is open and generosity flows. And I hope you feel that generosity. Let me tell you, just since we've been talking about stories, 3 very short stories. 3 BJ stories. A man started to come to evening minyan every single day to say Kaddish for his mother. His mother died at the age of 107, by the way. It was a big loss. And he came to say Kaddish every single night. He lives 800 miles from here. He's never set foot in this synagogue. In fact, he has very serious health challenges. But he's come every evening, and he felt part of this community. Unsolicited, he contacted one of the regular members of our minyan. They became friendly and told her he wants to make a very large gift to BJ. He's not a member here, but out of tremendous gratitude, he wants, and he will hopefully make very soon. It's in the process of giving a very significant gift to this community. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Another story. For the last couple of years, after services on Shabbat, we've had people who come to say Shabbat Shalom, and they say, you know, I've been with you every Shabbat and every Chag. I live far away. I'm amazed. I'm here for the first time in person. This is an amazing place. And I want you to know that you and your colleagues and your community have sustained me through COVID. I could not have made it if it weren't for BJ, for this community, for the prayer services and everything that you offered. I wouldn't have found the strength, the hope, the resilience, and the connection to be able to make it through. And I'm here for the first time. And I just want to say, or we want to say, sometimes it's couples who come and they're looking around and they're amazed at this place. We take it for granted because we come all the time. So what's new? But for them, it's like they've come to an amazing place. And it really is so moving and so beautiful. A man came, joined Jeshurun BJ, and came and sat somewhere over there. I have not met him, but this is, I'm told, the story that happened on Rosh Hashanah. The man says, you know, I just joined BJ. I am told that this is a very loving, warm, and joyful community. And then when we sang Shechianu after Kiddush on Rosh Hashanah on the first night, he says, now I know why I'm here. It is a loving, warm, and joyful community, and I'm home. I don't know if you're here, but this man was sitting on that side on the first night of Rosh Hashanah. And third, or fourth story, Felicia, Ari, Beck, and I received a beautiful email this past week from Greg and Rabbi Rachel Bovitz, members of BJ for quite a number of years. Their kids were pillars of our teen program. They're twins, Sari and Sami. They just left for college. Dear clergy team, we think you know that the BJ spirit travels along with our kids as they leave the nest. but we thought you'd enjoy these complimentary stories. Sammy is a freshman at USC and is therefore so lucky to spend time with Matan, another one of our teens who left for college a year earlier, last year. Therefore, so lucky to spend time with Matan at Hillel services each week. Sammy told us that his friends don't understand how he knows all the Friday night melodies. And so he had to explain that Matan brought everything to USC from BJ. Sari has been trying out different services at University of Michigan Hillel. 1 week conservative, which to her dismay did not include instruments. The next week reform, which she felt was too much in English and had unfamiliar melodies. And after she experienced these services, her conclusion was that she thinks there should be 4 denominations at Hillel: Reform, Conservative, Orthodox, and BJ. And they end, you have all such a big impact on our kids. We are so grateful. I'm so moved by these stories and by these expressions of gratitude to all of us, not just to me or to my colleagues, to all of us. So cutting to the chase, as they say. We have a financial goal, and we are actually very much well on our way. But we need your help. We know we need those that have given already to reach a little higher. It's part of what we do on Yom Kippur. We push ourselves, we stretch ourselves, and we reach higher until it begins to feel a little uncomfortable. For those who haven't given before, this is your moment. We need 100% participation. We've had a lot of people who have given, but not everybody. And we would like to have everybody in this community to feel they're responsible and to feel they can participate, they can give, and be counted. And we would like 100% of us to give at this time of Yom Kippur. It's critical. Every single gift matters. You matter, and we need you. Some people can give $100,000, and they do. Some people can give $50,000. Some people can give $1,800. Some people can give $180, and some people can only give, can give $18, which is deeply appreciated. And so we hope that everybody will do their best to reach and to stretch and to give, so we can say we have 100% participation. You know, we apply for grants to foundations. And they ask us how many people participate in supporting your community. And we'd like to be able to say every single member of this community, above and beyond their membership dues, which only cover a part of our budget, only a smaller part of our budget. Everybody in our community participates, and therefore we need a little bit more. Would you please give us a grant? And so tonight we have a special opportunity, thanks to the generosity of several donors. We have our first ever matching campaign. If you're giving for the first time tonight, or the first time in over 2 years, your gift will be matched dollar for dollar, 1 for 1. That means if you give $100, your gift becomes $200. This is critical for us to reach our goal of 100%. That's why we have this matching opportunity. It is important for us to support each other, to all do our part, and it encourages others to fund us as well with grants and so on. It is part of our story that we all come together. It can be $100, $10, $180, $1,000, whatever you can do, your gift counts and will be matched if you have not given ever or you have not given in the past 2 years. If you have given before, we are all of us tremendously grateful for your gift. We don't take our supporters for granted. For anyone who has given before, any dollar you give over and above what you have given before will be matched dollar for dollar. For example, if you gave $100 last year and give $200 this year, that increase of $100 will be matched one for one. So tonight, I ask you to stretch, to lean into your most generous self, and to go into the new year with a strong commitment to this community. We need you. We need each other. It's not we need you. We need each other to be able to do all the wonderful things that we do and to continue to grow and to expand and to offer even more things and reach more people. Your gift, if you haven't given, will have double impact. Think of the music, think of the inspiration, think of the connection to your identity, think of your spirituality, stretch, and we will too. We will too. We will as a community continue to stretch. Let's all come together in this moment to feel connected, to help each other, to grow, to care for the younger people, in particular for the 20s and 30s, the children that are growing in this community. Every week we have more and more kids here on Shabbat. It's amazing. So now I ask you to take your pledge card, wave it in the air. Please take your pledge cards and take the sticker that you were given and think about the gift you want to make. You're going to put the sticker in a number, put it in the higher number. And for those on the Zoom or live stream, we ask that after the Yom Kippur, tomorrow night, you visit the BJ donation page on our website after Neilah tomorrow. And ask yourself, how do you want to participate and to stretch? So I will ask all those who are collecting the cards, the amazing team of BJ volunteers, to begin walking around with their baskets. These are the solicitors for the Kol Nidre campaign. They are Gabaim, board members, all of whom have devoted their time, their effort, and their finances to BJ. And we're going to sing a nigun while we do this very wonderful and spiritual act of generosity. don't know him, this is Matt Aarons. Matt was born into this community, grew up in this community. He came here on Shabbatot with his parents and his sister for years and years. He went to multiple retreats. He went to Camp Ramah. And he was a student at UCLA in Middle Eastern Studies and ethnomusicology. He's an amazing musician. And he was just finished playing. He was the musician for the 20s and 30s service in the community house. They just finished. He told me they had packed on the third floor. It was a beautiful service. And he knows the music because he grew up here. And he learned it and absorbed it and internalized it. And now he is participating in the 20s and 30s services. So homegrown, Matt Aarons, it's really great that you're doing this. Perfect. Shoko. So I want to say some thank yous to the lead Gavaim, Miriam Abramowitz and Sharon Anstey, to the Gavaim who helped tonight, Avi Ashman, Sandy Braworski, Rochelle Freidlich, Martha Ginsburg, Susan Grodnick, Susan Hyman, Mark Lerman, Susan Margolis, Ellen Metzger, and Tony Siegel, to the head usher, Jeff Singerman, to the ushers and greeters, Jen Katz, Shira Neidit Levin, Susan Lieberman, Johnny Brenner, Peggy Moss, Dana Trobe, Miriam Hersher, Andrew Newman, Laura Weiss, Renee Silverman, Gail Amsterdam, David Bernard, Scott Winner, Martha Kransdorf, Leah Silver, and Jack David Marcus. See how many people it takes to make this as community. This is community. Tomorrow morning, first before tomorrow morning, if you haven't had a chance to give your card tonight, you can still contribute after Kol Nidre. So please, if you haven't done it tonight, please think it through and think deep and be generous. And we hope that we will have really full participation from everyone here. You can go to our website after the Yom Kippur, after Neilah, and make your donation there. Please leave the Mahzorim and the supplement on the chairs before you leave. Please go tomorrow morning. Services begin at 9 promptly to the location that is assigned to you, that was assigned to you, that is in your entrance card. Review your location. Please go there. Hopefully it won't rain too hard and we'll all be able to begin on time and to have a really meaningful and deep service tomorrow throughout the day. Seder HaAvodah will take place. Only one location. We'll all join here at 4 p.m. for Seder HaAvodah with Deborah and Ari and Felicia and myself. 4:45 will be Mincha and Neilah, either at SPSA or here. At 6:45, the families are invited to join for the Neilah Family Experience and Candlelight Processional. They will come to Frankel Hall at 6:45 or the parlor room at SPSA, and Tikiyat Shofar and Havdalah will be tomorrow evening at 7:30. And with that, we're going to conclude our tefillah tonight with Adir Venaor, another beautiful piyut, on page 7 in the supplement.
שמיים
מי אל כמוך כובש עוונות מי אל כמוך
מלך מלכים נורא ונשגב
מי אל כמוך סומך נופלים עונה על עשוקים מי אל כמוך צועק ברפואה מי אל כמוך קרוב לכל רב רחום וחנון
שוכן שחכים טוב ותמידי
מי אל כמוך Eloi Aslicha, O God of forgiveness, on this holy night of Kol Nidre, we ask you to give us the opportunity to open our hearts, to open them wide, to look into the shards of our brokenness, to learn the lessons we must learn, to search through the cracks in the dark spaces of our soul, to find there just a spark of light, to be able to elevate that light, to make meaning, to make sense, to make amend, to repair, to heal that which is broken. Help us on this day to see ourselves in truth and honesty, to stand before you in humility, to be able to ask for forgiveness for all our transgressions and mistakes, and give us the power to see the path ahead, the path of transformation, of opportunity, of hope, new vision, new dreams for ourselves, for our community, for our nation, for Israel. May we hear the bells that still ring. May we seize on to that hope, and from there move forward with strength, with courage, with determination to a year that, please God, will be sweeter and better, more just, more peaceful, more loving. יברכך אדוני וישמרך, יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה, יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לכם שלום, אמן. גמר חתימה טובה.